Welcome back again to the channel, and this week I thought I would do things a little bit differently. Usually I go through everything scripted, I have it written down, I've thought about it for a few days, but this time I actually thought, let me just do it the way I have always wanted to do it and see if that way kind of works for me. So this is really a story about this whole week that has just gone past, and essentially how I dealt with that week, how I went through that week, and how the framework that I'm teaching you, the Rain Style framework, actually came more into being and more into meaning for me this week. And it was kind of a reminder of why I actually created this framework, or how this framework came into being. And it was as an experience of my life. And this week really taught me that. So this video is going to be very unscripted. It's just going to be me going through what the events that happened this week, how I felt, and how I kind of used the framework to be able to overcome those issues that I faced this week. It's not your traditional video like the first two that I've done, but this is me kind of affirming you just have to start, you just have to keep going, and no matter what the expectations that you have, you just have to push through it, because at the end of the day, YouTube rewards consistency, but within that consistency, I want to be able to share how this framework has helped me and how it can potentially help you. So to really start things off, this week for me was a really big week. I've been working on a project that's called True North. It's an AI assistant, or not really an AI assistant, but an AI companion, and it's based on the Rain Style framework, and it's only based on the first three pillars of the framework, and that's what are the pillars of the framework? It's reflect, inspire, and strengthen. So this is a project that I've been working on, and it's something that is actually available. If you see the link in the description, you can actually go and get the beta version. It's actually free, beta version, and it's actually free. So give it a go and see how it goes. But this week I was finishing this off, and I was also trying to finish the landing page for the website. So this is kind of how I got into my Monday and Tuesday. Essentially what happened was, there was so much work happening with the landing page and with also True North. And then I also had my 9 to 5 to worry about. So all these things culminated in a moment where I really felt kind of overwhelmed. I felt like there's just so much stuff to do with so little time to do it. And I got to a point where I was even asking myself, like, do I really want this? Like, I've got all this work, my 9 to 5 is killing me, I'm stressed on my time with my family. Do I really want to continue pushing through on this project? And what does it really mean to me? Can I not just walk away from this? This landing page, it won't work. I can't get it to sync, I can't get it to connect the custom domain. And so there were all these questions that were roving around in my head. And it came to a point where I actually just had to sit back and take a moment to take a breath. And this happened around the Tuesday mark. And what I realized was essentially what I was doing the first step of the Rain Style framework, reflect. So me taking a step back, I actually got to realize that this is something that I signed up for. It's not like YouTube was happening, this website was happening for absolute shits and giggles, and pardon my language. It was something that I signed up on because it was something that I really believed in, and it was a journey that I wanted to take to the next level and I wanted to take forward in my life. So all these things culminating in a 1 week period where I've got so many things to deliver, I signed up for that stuff. So it was difficult for me. Well, it wasn't difficult, but it was difficult for me to realize that when I didn't take a moment to actually step back, see what was going on, and then be able to work through those things. So that was the first point where I realized, wow, Project True North, which is the AI companion that I'm creating, is actually in action right now, so to speak, in the sense that I am stepping back. And that's the first thing that True North gets you to do. It gets you to step back and reflect. What is important? What are you trying to achieve? What is everything that is on your plate? What is the most important things? And it asks you all these questions to be able to determine and to make almost piecework of everything that you need to do so that you can actually get through the day. And in this case, get through the week. So when I did this, I realized that these were two things that I had to do, and if I didn't do them, I wouldn't be able to move to the next step. So I basically decided, okay, I have to do these things within this week. Launch the website or the landing page in this case, and then also finish off True North so that I can launch the beta version as well. So essentially what I did was, all right, fine. There's one more thing I'm going to have to sacrifice because I've just finished the video from last week and I'm trying to work through everything, and now I've got all this work to do, and I'm just realizing, okay, no matter what, I'm going to have to do it. Then another thought popped in my mind, which was even more adding to being overwhelmed throughout the week, was I still have to write the script for the next week's video. And usually I do that around Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I let it sit for a while, and then I come back to it on Thursday, Friday to sharpen it up. And then I decided something. I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to try something that I haven't done before. I'm going to try a format that is slightly different. For this next video, I'm going to speak from my heart, and I'm going to speak from essentially bullet points that I've laid out of how we're going to do this. So I don't need to worry about this right now. So I got to work on the website, and then I finished that. And then I got to work on Project North, True North, and then I finished that as well. And then I married the two, put it up. The custom GPT was done, and then the website was up and running. And then I ran into the next problem. I wanted to use my custom domain, which is rainstyle.com. But for some reason, after following all the steps of System.io, and this is not sponsored or anything by System.io, it's just the platform of choice that I went with based on all the available platforms. But anyway, that's beside the point. So for some reason, even after updating the DNS settings and doing everything, it just wasn't working. And I was trying to figure out what is going on. Like, you've given me step 1, 2, 3. I've followed those steps. I've gone to the DNS checker and it's not refreshing. And this added to the frustration. And again, it was kind of like, reflect, step back, take a moment to take stock of what is happening. Take almost a snapshot. And snapshot is another thing that Project True North also does. So take a snapshot of what is happening and really just pick it apart. And I was trying to push against the wave of it can take anywhere from up to 24 to 48 hours for the DNS to actually propagate. And I asked myself, is this really important? I've already got the System.io URL, and I'm just trying to switch it to a personal or a custom domain, which is my domain. I don't really necessarily need that right now, and I can wait for that to happen later, and I can launch with this, because at the end of the day, this is the beta version. So I kind of found myself to be blocking myself, and through being able to step back, reflect, and pause and think about it, I realized that I'm creating hurdles that aren't necessary. So I took that hurdle out and I said, okay, fine, you know what? Forget about this. We'll come back to it in 48 hours. If it's working, if it's not, yes, it's not working. Then we'll deal with that then, but I'm going to go forward. So I put that down, I finished it, and I moved on. As I mentioned before, I finished True North and I moved on, and then I got onto my 9 to 5. But essentially, it really hit home to me the importance of this framework, and how even though I've been using this framework for so many years, I've literally gotten so used to it that I've forgotten the different steps that are in it. And it was a wake-up call for me. And once I got True North running, I actually started using True North myself, because again, it's a beta test. So I was trying to make sure that it's working the way it's supposed to work. So I put all these situations that I was facing into True North. So I prompted, hi, True North, how are you doing, etc., etc. These are the issues that I'm facing currently, and this is what is going on. This is a snapshot. This is a 1 out of 10. I am happy with this. This is, well, 1 out of 10. I'm not happy with this. This is a 5 out of 10. I'm happy with that, and etc., etc. And True North essentially asked me the question that I asked myself. It said basically, have you taken a moment to step back and zoom out? So you're at 100 feet off the ground, or let's say even closer, you're at 2 feet off the ground. Have you taken a moment to step back and go to 9,000 feet off the ground, look at this whole situation and pick out, for example, based on the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your results are meant to come from 20% of the work, what are the things that you actually need to do and what are the things that you don't need to do? In other words, what is bringing you closer to your goal for this week and what is taking you further away? And I was taken aback and I was like, okay, fine, you are working. So we went through this back and forth conversation, and I essentially realized that, yes, all the steps that we went through are exactly what I built True North for. And it just really capitalized or made very important in my mind the importance of being able to reflect, to look at something and take a moment, take a step back, go all the way out to 9,000 feet and try and figure out what is actually really important and where can I put my strengths and where can I put my priorities to be able to move this forward without necessarily getting dragged in and getting stuck into the weeds of it. And it was really liberating because then it kind of showed me that this is a tool that works, that I'll be able to share with other people, and that's what really made it important to me. So now I'm just skipping through the notes because I've spoken about most of the things. So how reflection actually works, and this is part of True North. How does reflection actually work? Reflection is what you do to break the cycle of being overwhelmed, if you will. It's when you take a step back, because when you're overwhelmed, you're actually on autopilot. You're not thinking, you're just doing things as they come. This task comes in, I'm going to do that. This task comes in, I'm going to do that. All these tasks come in, you try and do everything at the same time. You're a busybody doing everything. But in actual fact, you might be checking off things off your to-do list, but you're not actually moving forward, or you don't feel, no, you're not actually moving forward. Things are not moving forward. That's because you're checking off all the wrong things that are not going to move the project forward. In other words, let's give another analogy. There's big fires and small fires. You've got 10 small fires that can get you to your destination, but it's going to take you 10 months to be able to put those fires out. And you've got one big fire that can get you to your destination, but it's going to take you 1 month of extremely hard work to put that fire out. In this sense, the most important thing about learning to reflect is to be able to see that that big fire will get you putting that big fire out will get you a lot further down the road, a lot faster, with a lot more work, but then it'll put you in a position where you're able to do other things as opposed to spending a long amount of time to do those things. And in most cases, what happens is once you put the big fire out, some of the small fires actually tend to disappear. And that's the power of reflection. That's the power of being able to take stock of the situation and actually see what's happening. Without it, we default to wanting to quit and coming back to the website and coming back to True North. This is what came to my mind. I can't take this anymore. I'm spending late nights. I've got so many things to do. I've only got 2 videos on my channel. I'm literally starting out, and I felt in my mind, I was burning out. And the reason I was burning out is I wasn't taking stock of the situation. I wasn't reflecting on what is happening, what is important, and prioritizing. And as soon as that kicked in, and that's part of the framework, because the framework is essentially everything I've learned in my life, that's when it became a lot easier. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get this done. Bang, big fire, out. I'm going to do the second thing, get it done. Big fire, out. And then in my 9 to 5, it was big fire, and what I had been fretting about during the day had all gone. So I got to Thursday when now I was sitting and I was kind of like, wow, by just taking a moment to reflect, even though I thought in taking a moment to reflect, sometimes you might feel like, okay, I'm wasting my time. Why am I doing this? Let me just get down to bang, 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 doing things. In doing so, I actually realized that it allowed me to get the perspective on what is important, what needs to be actually done, and do those things. And the things that don't need to be done, a lot of them disappeared and a lot of them became non-issues. So it just really speaks to the power of being able to reflect, being able to see what you're seeing, see what you're doing. So what does this mean now in the sense of True North? Because essentially this week was a lesson in what Project True North is all about. So Project True North is it's an AI companion that I've been building and working on. And the purpose of it is to really drill down through the first 3 pillars of Rain Style, which is reflect, inspire, and strengthen. This is the first step before you go to the full rain style pillars or the full rain style framework, which is reflect, inspire, strengthen, elevate, and community. And the last one we'll get back into in new videos. So Project True North is basically your starting point. You're building your ability to be able to reflect, prioritize, and then create small actions. It's not a prescriptive AI. So it's not like you're going to go into True North and be like, hey, True North, I've got this problem. What should I do? True North is going to ask you, well, what are the important issues or what are the important factors? Who are the stakeholders? What is the expectation? What do you feel is most important? Do you feel that what you feel is most important to the stakeholders? So through a process of conversation, it's going to draw out a picture. And the main point to this is, and the reason why it's not prescriptive is, True North is not giving you directions on what to do. It's drawing information that you already have. See, what we usually do in life is we question things. When you have a situation in front of you, you have a million questions. For the most part, you never ask the million questions. You ask one or two questions and you feel satisfied with the answer and you go with that. But the reality is there's so many different perspectives to look at situations from, and we rob ourselves of the ability to be able to go beyond or go through that situation by only asking very few questions. So what True North does is it takes you through the process of taking a snapshot from 9,000 feet, not at 2 feet where you literally can't see anything, from 9,000 feet where you're taking all the different factors into account. And then and only then are you starting to map out, okay, what are the steps that I can take? If I take this step, what is going to happen? Is this going to speak to the importance of the stakeholders? Is it going to get it accomplished? Is it going to put out the big fire, the small fire? So it starts with reflection, analyzing, taking what the priorities are, taking the snapshot, and then it goes to starting to map out what are the actions. And this again is still not being prescriptive. True North is not prescriptive. It's only to draw the information out of you that's already there, but you just haven't accessed it because you haven't asked the correct questions. So this is really important. When you reflect, it's a form of reframing. We can say it's a form of looking at things from a different perspective. And when you're at 2 feet high, it's very difficult to do that because you don't see the big picture. You see immediately what is right in front of you and you can't take stock of everything else that's going around. I can give you another analogy in the sense that if you're traveling at 100 miles an hour and you're going down a road, you're not going to see a lot of the things or a lot of the shops and the restaurants and the things, if you're looking for a restaurant that is, that are on the side of the road, because you're going to be focused a lot further down the road. And because everything is coming at you so quickly, you can't track something and then readjust. It forces you to keep your eye on the eye at the front. But when you slow down, because the risk decreases, obviously, because you've decreased the risk, but then you also have the ability to almost see more things because they're in your field of vision a lot longer, so you can actually take stock of what's happening. So this is kind of what True North is. It's either the 2 feet going to 9,000 feet, or it's the 100 miles an hour going to 10 miles an hour and being able to see what is happening around. And that's reflection. This one pause or this slow down, this taking perspective, it can take you from a situation of feeling hopeless and wanting to quit and to a situation of being hopeful. If I was to say, let's see, how do we define hopeless? Hopeless would be believing something is pointless, believing that you want to quit because you just can't solve the issue, you can't do anything. And this is kind of what I felt on going around Monday, Tuesday. And then hopeful is also realizing that the struggle that you are in, well, within this context, The struggle that you're in is something that you actually signed up for. It's not something that is happening to you. It's something that you actively engaged yourself into. And the only way to go is to go through it. You can't go around it. You can't go over it. You can't just close your eyes, please disappear, please disappear, please disappear, and it poof, disappears. You actually have to go through it. And it's also interesting because once you start to get this friction is a sign that you are in motion. And we're talking here on Earth, because in space there's still friction, and I know a lot of people are going to correct me in the comments for this. There's still a lot of friction. Well, there's still some friction in terms of stardust, other planets, gravitational pulls, and everything, etc., etc. But coming down to the Earth analogy, once you get in motion, there's an opposite force that starts to push back. So you can take hope in the fact that once you start moving and you feel this friction, it means you're moving, you're getting to a destination. Now you just have to be strategic about how you move. And this was the thing that I kind of realized at the beginning of the week. From being hopeless and wanting to quit, and zooming out and seeing what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done, what can be left until later, I became hopeful again, because I realized that all this pressure and all this friction that I'm encountering, it's because I'm in motion. But now I just have to be strategic so that I'm able to deliver the results that I want to deliver, i.e. making sure that the landing page goes up, making sure that project True North goes up, which is kind of what we're talking about today. And again, the beta version is available in the description. You go check it out and leave feedback in the comments. It will really help me to develop it more, and it's free. It's free for now. So the beta version, please check it out, and we continue from there. So it allowed me to realize that this friction is actually something that should be a positive sign, so to speak, because it's telling me that I am in motion. And when I'm in motion, that goes against the feeling of being stuck. So on one side, you're saying, I'm feeling stuck, I'm not moving anywhere, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I want to quit, nothing is happening. But the reason that is happening is because you're doing things and you're starting to face friction that is pushing you against those things. So for me, the reframe and the mindset was to say, hey, okay, I signed up for this. This is what I actually wanted. This was my moment of realization through reflection that, okay, this is going to continue happening as I develop and as I go. I just have to be strategic about it. So yeah, it's not really kind of anything that is new. This is so many different speakers and so many different people have spoken about this. But for me, it was really important to share this in the context of the framework that I've developed over the past 36 years of my life. We won't count the first ones because I was a child. But over the past 36 years of my life, I've developed this framework. And it's just interesting to see that even I myself, who has the framework and the tools around the framework, also forget sometimes and get overwhelmed. And this is what a lot of you might actually be feeling right now, that you're overwhelmed and you don't know what you're doing. You're doing a lot, but everything seems to not be working and you're almost ready to quit. And my message to you is stop, reflect, take a moment to zoom out, put all the ducks in a row, see what is actually going on and what the effects are. And then from there, plan small steps that are going to get you through it one by one. Prioritize what is important so that you can actually start to gain traction and move. Even with the resistance, you can continue going forward. And this is just such an important thing for me as I am doing my 9-to-5 and I'm doing the part-time YouTuber, but also for anybody. And it doesn't have to be somebody that is starting out YouTube. This could be in your daily work. This could be in your private life. This could be anything that you are experiencing in your life. You just have to take a moment sometimes to stop and reflect, to pause, to take a snapshot of what is happening, and then go from there. Be able to take the next steps, step by step by step by step. Because if you try to live life at 100 miles an hour, you miss a lot of things and then it starts to feel like you're not moving. But if you slow down, you will be able to make all the correct moves and put out all the correct fires to get further than possibly the person that's going 100 miles an hour. Because remember, when you're going 100 miles an hour, you could be wheel spinning. So your speedometer is showing 100 miles an hour, but the actual motion or velocity that you have is 20 miles an hour. So take a moment and think about it, just as I took a moment earlier this week to realize doing this YouTube channel to share with you the things that I've learned in my life through the framework that I kind of created, and now with the tool of True North, which is the first 3 steps of that framework and helping you walk through that framework. It's possible to move forward. It's possible to get going, and it's possible to go beyond feeling overwhelmed and hopeless to starting to feel hopeful again, to starting to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes, even if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you have to realize sometimes it's a curve. You have to keep going, because at the end of the day, you will get there only if you keep going. But if you quit, if you don't zoom out, if you continue doing this, you will burn out. And once you burn out, there's not much that you can do except stop. So don't be the person that allows yourself to get to the point of being forced to take a break for you to get the perspective. Do what I did and do what your own inclination is. Sometimes when you're overwhelmed, you also get that inclination inside that, okay, what is going on here? Let me take a moment, let me step back. What is everything that is in my visibility, and what are the things that I actually need to do? Is everything a priority? And mind you, once everything becomes a priority, nothing is a priority. And then plan your steps one by one from there and move forward. So this was the week that I had, and I'm really happy that I had this week because it allowed me to create this video, which is, I feel like it's easier for me because I'm not speaking from something that has happened to me over 10 years, 20 years. It's something as recent as this week. I mean, today is Saturday. Well, and you'll probably be seeing this Sunday night, but today is Saturday. So this is something that happened in the past 4 or 5 days. It's really fresh in my mind, but it's just that perspective that it never stops. You always need to just stop, reflect, take a snapshot of where you are, and then move forward step by step, planning through how you want to move forward. And in an essence, or in a nutshell, that is what Project True North is all about, the AI companion that I created. So if you would like to try it out, the link is in the description. Go ahead, it's free for now, it's a beta version. Once you try it out, you can come back to this video, you can give your comments in the video and let me know what you enjoyed about it or what it helped you do if you're willing to share that in public. Or if you're not willing to share it in public, that is also fine. Keep it with yourself, write it down, because that is the important thing, for you to be able to get something out of it. And usually this information is already in you. True North will just help you get it out. The Rainstyle framework is all about being able to reflect, to inspire, to strengthen, to elevate, and then coming together as a community to be able to share these things and show other people that life is possible. There is a way to get through things, and that's it. So thank you very much for watching this video. I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope this means something to somebody. And if it doesn't, keep watching the videos, because at some point things will click for you. And if it's not for you, maybe you know somebody that this is for. But please also like, because that will really help me grow this channel. And if you can as well, subscribe. I would really love to have you in the community and to be able to grow with you as I continue to grow, because I'm not finished growing and this framework is not complete. The framework is there, but I'm still growing within the framework, and I would like us to grow together. So once again, thank you very much. Have a lovely day or evening or morning ahead, and I'll catch you in the next one.